Happy day 977 of What's She Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, sharing and documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. Started my transition, in 2017. Had the opportunity as part of my divorce to separate myself out from the corporate world in 2004, and then my businesses, all the different businesses I was running with my ex-husband in 2016. And so in 2017, the beginning of the year, since we separated those things out in 2016, 2017, I decided I was going to do this online thing. I was going to figure out this online thing in my pajamas, pajama grandma. I was going to show up every day in my pajamas, proving that I could work when I want, where I want, wearing what I want, with whomever I want, from anywhere that I wanted to. So the whole laptop lifestyle thing, I was going to explore that and figure that out and then share that. Well, the universe had other plans for me, as so often happens. Ran into some health challenges, which triggered my vision challenges that I've had for decades. Literally had vision challenges for decades, and have had to make changes in things in my life to accommodate those physical challenges, those physical and health challenges. But it still didn't let it stop me. I mean, sometimes it stopped me and slowed me down, but I wasn't going to let it knock me out of my life altogether. And that's a story in and of itself. It took a while to figure that out. It wasn't an easy journey. It took about 3 years the first time. And in 2017, I had another big hit of, I call it inflammation, because I like to lighten the magnitude of the way I describe things, especially when it comes to my health. So I had that, and had to slow down, but I wanted to, and it impacted my eyes and my vision even more, to the point where I'm now legally blind, and I'm not going to let that stop me either, right? I'm still going to show up. I'm going to figure things out. And one of the things I had to figure out was I couldn't continue to write and blog and text and do those things to the extent that I was before. So I had to figure out video. And video is a challenge for so many people, me included, but I had to figure it out because there was no other way for me to journal and document what I was doing along the way, and for me to keep track of it. So I started to just share a video every day. So today is day 977 of that. Of course, I didn't start right in 2017. It took me a lot of overcoming the whole fear of doing video and showing up on live video before I would actually start doing that. But then 977 days ago, I did do my first video, and have done it ever since. I think I didn't do this particular segment while I was on a cruise last November. I was on the Jimbo cruise, and it was just too hard to do it from the boat. I still did it every day. I just didn't come back and share them all. I'm like, nobody cares what I'm doing on my cruise. I'm having fun. I did the videos live, but nobody really could see them. So for that period of time is the only time that I've really missed that, and last Christmas Day, because last year Christmas, I had some kind of a bug that had me laid out flat and down. I missed the entire holiday season. I had to stay away from my family, although they all got sick too. I felt so bad. My daughter and my son-in-law went to Florida, and then ended up getting his whole family sick during the holiday weeks. And so it was kind of a lost holiday season, but I got to sleep a lot, so I feel like I caught up on some things. So I share this because this is the format that works for me, that I need to use to share it. Is that kind of selfish? Yeah, some days I feel very selfish, like I'm only talking to myself. But I feel like if I share one thing that I'm doing that somebody can learn from, one lesson or one mistake or aha or epiphany that I've had, so that you don't have to go through that yourself, I think it's worthwhile and worth sharing. And it's a great way for me to go back and check on, well, geez, I'm thinking that this is a good idea, but guess what? 2.5 years ago, I tried this exact same thing. This is what didn't work. So if I'm going to do it again, if now might be the right time for me to do it, I'm going to make sure I didn't make the mistakes that I made 2.5 years ago. I'm going to not create an entire course without anybody's input. I'm not going to believe that I can create a course or a membership site or something, and if you build it, they will come. Because that's complete and utter poppycock. It's not true. You want to build it with the people that you're building it for. So that would be an example of a lesson I would have learned from earlier in my online transition, and I would make sure I apply the lessons that I learned if I want to choose to go down that route again. I'm not saying that I will or won't. Some things I've discovered, we're all our own science experiment. Some things work for me really, really well that don't work for other people. Other things work really, really well for other people that absolutely positively I fall flat on my face on, and it don't work for me. So today, launching the day 1 of our next Get Up and Go challenge, 30 plus day challenge. called Get Up and Go. And this will be the fourth time I've done a 30-day version of it. I've done 3 others. I did it in April. I did it in August. Well, I did it in April. I did it in June, July, because it was a longer than 30 days. It was a 40-plus day challenge then. And then I did it again in August. And then September, August kind of went over for the 30 days into September. So the first couple days of September, I was like, I don't want to start another one right away. I want to go back. I want to look. I want to see what I've done and what's transitioned, because everyone has been slightly different. Some have been a lot different, but slightly different for sure in how I've shared and what I've shared. And then this one, I've taken some of the best of those, but I've added a whole new couple of concepts and a couple of things that I'm really excited about. One thing I did is I brainstormed a list of the tools and techniques and tips, not tips so much, a tip isn't a tool, but tools and strategies and things that I use on a regular basis to move me forward, to help me through challenges, to help me through changes. And every day for this 30 plus day challenge, I'm going to share one of those tools, one of those techniques or strategies, and that way people can create their own toolbox of what works for them. And I think that's going to be really helpful and really powerful, not only for the 30-day challenge, but for the time beyond that challenge, because a tool might work today or it might not. It might be something that they're like, yeah, this was a waste of my time. But down the road, just like when we read a good book, we might not know when we're reading it. We might think, oh my gosh, that was a waste of time. But then down the road, 3 months later, we find ourselves in a situation where the information that we got out of that book or that tool is the perfect thing, the exact thing that we need when we hit that situation. So that's part of why I wanted to do that. I wanted to share that as part of the challenge this time. I'm also, although today's was over 20 minutes, slightly over 20 minutes, I want to try to hold myself to that 10-minute limit, that 10 minutes, because I think that we spend way too much time, as I do in this particular segment, talking about stuff and not actually applying it. So I want it to be a very action-oriented challenge where, hey, this is the thing, this is the tool, this is the action item, go do it. So that we're getting little wins every single day that build upon themselves to create a bigger impact end result that we want in a 30-day period. That's what I love about 30-day challenges versus the 5-day challenges. Most 5-day challenges, or now 10-day challenges, are just one big perfect webinar. They're one big sales pitch. They're one big funnel to get people into your business or into your coaching program or into your whatever. And they're awesome for that because they give people a taste of who you are and how you can serve them. However, I do them just for the service part. I do my challenges just for the service part. Now, don't go back and look at one of my previous challenges and say, oh, you sold this at the end of it, because I offer something at the end of it. And I'm not selling anybody anything nowadays. I've got myself set up that I don't want to ever feel, or anyone who works with me to ever feel like I sold them anything. But I'm not going to even offer you anything at the end of the challenge. If you want to work with me further, that will be up to you to take the initiative and contact me and ask, right? It's not I'm going out and digging up information or digging up and sharing information and then taking it away so that you have to get the rest of the information from me. Absolutely positively not what I do in my challenges. I share as much as I possibly can, and as I'm doing the challenge right along with the people that are participating, I am out researching every day and looking for more value and more information and more things that I can share. Because guess what? Secretly, I am growing and expanding and becoming a better human being with every challenge that I lead, because I'm not only just leading it for my own selfish purposes, I'm leading it so I can learn and grow and personally develop as well. And I think that is the best way to do it and a fun way to do it. I'm sure other people will argue with me and say, it's just a marketing tool. Well, you know what? That's where the online world and the offline world and I kind of diverge from the way of thinking. The online world believes that life and business is 90% marketing and 10% all the other functions. I know from personal experience the opposite is true. Our marketing is 10%, and everything else has to all come together to equal your 100%. It takes everything together in tandem to make a successful business, not just marketing. Yep, short term you can market to people and make a lot of money, and if that's your goal and your objective, more power to you. You'll succeed because you can make a lot of money fast just marketing. But if you don't have the systems and the processes and the procedures and everything in place. It's why my actual online thing is Supersize Your Business. How do you create the entire business, not just focus on one segment of it? And a lot of people will teach you each segment of it. Go to them to learn just the segment of it, but don't think that them teaching you a segment of a business is actually creating a sustainable business that will, if that's what you want. If you want to create a sustainable business, something to change your life, that's different than just focusing on the marketing. We could talk about that later. So I'm really excited about this Get Up and Go challenge. I think every time I do it, I get excited about it, but it's because every time I do it, I add more and I find more nuances and better ways of sharing the material and changing and morphing and creating more material that makes it better and better and better every time. So I'm working on that. Today was day 1. I honestly don't even know what day 2 is going to be yet. I know that's probably bad to admit. Most people have it all mapped out and then they just do the same challenge over and over and over again. And mine are all different. Everyone's been different. I've done hundreds of them. Everyone's different and everyone's, I'd like to think they're better than the last and that they just continue to get better and better and they morph into something better and more valuable for the people that are participating. I know they're more valuable for me, and since I'm participating, I like to believe that they're more valuable for everybody participating as well. Saying today for the Supersize Your Business page, because I started doing that 500 and oh my gosh, how many days ago? 577 days ago. Today was day 578. I was just sharing an idiom a day. I did it as part of, I was moving and transitioning and fixing up my old house to get ready to move, as finally finishing off and separating all the assets and everything that I ever had with my ex-husband. So we're finally got that all done. Did that right as the pandemic was happening. Finished off and separated all those things. So was working on that, and I needed something to do to share content with my existing group, the folks I'm serving for in the business segment, business people. And it's like, well, what is something that's really important for us to do? Well, it's to continually grow and develop and find ways to look at things differently. So I found a book of idioms that my kids had from junior high, literally. And I'm like, oh, 600 idioms. This is pretty interesting. And I just started randomly picking one out of the book and then saying, well, how does this apply to business? And I don't even think for like the first few hundred, number one, I didn't count them, so I don't know how many I did. But I didn't necessarily apply it to business. It was more to life. And then I started to apply it to business and share it on my Supersize Your Business page every day. So we look at an idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it to grow and create the business that it is that you want to create? So today's was Rome wasn't built in a day. Now I find as I'm coming to the end of this book, there's only 600 in this book, and today was day 577. They're the idioms that I read and skipped over because they're harder and harder to apply to business. But as I've gotten experience applying these different idioms to business, I've gotten better at it. And so now it's even the hard ones are kind of easy. So it's kind of fun. But now I'm challenged at the end of the book to do the ones that were the hardest that I skipped over. Some of them I've skipped over literally dozens of times because I was like, nah, I don't want to try to figure out how that applies to business. So now I'm at the point where I'm challenging myself to really figure out how do these last 20, how many ever, apply to business. So that was Rome wasn't built in a day. And I probably didn't think in the beginning that Rome wasn't built in a day was easier to apply to business, but it really is. Once you start thinking about it, it's all about perseverance, knowing that resources are required. Things that we want take time and energy and resources to make them come into fruition. People want instant gratification, but they want short-term and long-term results. So if you're promising them a transformation or a solution to a problem, you're going to have to find ways to get them quick wins, quick fixes, and the long-term results that they want. I secretly think that's why I love challenges, because challenges give people, if they actually do the challenge, they give them little wins every single day. Every day you do the challenge, you get little wins. Every day you listen to the recording or participate live, you get a little dopamine hit that, oh my gosh, I got on there live, I did this. Every time you do the action item, you get another sense of I accomplished something. So by the time you do, I think it's why I like the longer challenges too. By the time you do a 30-day challenge, you've got like 100 wins under your belt, and you've accomplished all these things along the way and acquired skills and abilities that you didn't even know that you were acquiring because it was in such little bite-sized pieces that you're totally and forever changed at the end of a 30-day challenge. If you actually do it, then you would be in a 30-day period. You've undergone more change and more transformation than you can even imagine in that short a period of time. And that's what I love about them, because they are so powerful. You get massive exponential improvement in certain areas and aspects of your life that would take you literally years to achieve otherwise. So challenges are my jam. I love them. Fun challenge today was about baby animals, born puppies. What do we love about baby animals? And again, I started the 365-day challenges when I first started doing video. Why? Because I was afraid to do video. I absolutely positively was petrified, just like pretty much everybody else. We're always afraid of something until we actually do it, and then we realize we don't die. My first videos, and even to this day, I do not go back and watch my videos. I do not edit my videos. What you see is what you get. I love WYSIWYG. WYSIWYG is awesome, especially for somebody that can't see very well. What you see is what you get, and sometimes it's in code. What you see is what you get with text messages from me. If I try to do stuff without my magnifying glass, it's brutal. Some of the comments I leave on people's posts, I'll see them with my big screen later, and I'm like, oh my God, I'll have to go back and fix them. I had one yesterday, and the lady's like, thank you for clarifying that, because it was like in a foreign language, because I had missed all of the letters in the sentence. They were all wrong. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to start talking to things more than counting them. But then here's the problem with that technology. It isn't perfect. So even if I talk to devices, I need somebody to go back behind me and edit them and make sure that the right stuff's going out. So it's just one of my own personal challenges. As my vision deteriorates to the point of non-existence, I'm getting used to, as I'm going along, the different technology that's available for blind people. And some of it's awesome, others not so much. Right now, my struggle with vision systems for the computer is they read you absolutely everything on the screen. So it's like thinking you have to read, thank you, Avril, for teaching me this, a whole book, cover to cover, word for word. We're all trained and we believe we have to do that, but actually we don't have to. We can just pick and choose whatever we want, especially as adults. We can pick out the pieces that we want to consume. Well, I'm the same way on computers and technology. I want the pieces I want to consume. I don't want a device that reads me everything on the screen. It takes too long. So instead of actually speeding up my process, it slows it down. It makes it harder for me. So maybe I'll work on helping to create something that you can pick and choose what you want to be told about on the screen, or different other faster, easier ways of doing things for people that are physically challenged or visually challenged, than having to do things the way people that have vision create them, thinking that it works for us that don't, if that makes sense. So that was a fun challenge today, but I started doing challenges because I was afraid to. My first 365-day challenge was do one thing every day that is outside your comfort zone or that scares you. Do one thing every single day that scares you just a little bit. So that was a fun challenge. Then I did last year, do one thing every day that makes you happy, because I was transitioning and moving and letting go of businesses and things that had been a part of my life for decades. And so I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be happy about it. And then this year, I'm so glad I picked fun, because it's been such a freaking crazy year that it's been a little mind-boggling in some situations and at sometimes, and with people's behavior and what's been going on, especially here in America. So I'm super glad that I picked fun, because fun has kept me going. It's really fun, actually, to look for one fun thing every day. Remember, I used to go for walks out at the state park, and when I could still drive, I would go every day, and I thought, I'm going to get bored going to the same park every day. Now, it's a huge park. I don't know how many acres it is, but it's lots of acres, lots of trails, and I was afraid, I was going to get bored there, but I never did, because I asked myself to look for something beautiful I hadn't seen before every single day when I went for a walk. So guess what? Every day when I went for a walk, I saw at least one thing, if not dozens of beautiful things that I had never seen or never noticed before, because I was looking for beautiful things. We get what we expect. We get what we look for. And so I say, let's look for the best in ourselves and in other people, and that's what we'll find. All right, that's enough rambling for today. Go out, make it an awesome day. I have got a challenge to work on and map a little bit more out. I like to be a day ahead for sure. So I always map out at least tomorrow's, but I want to kind of map out the overall structure again and how I want to do it, and then try to match up some of the tools to when I want to share them. And I guarantee whatever I map out, it will change during the challenge itself. They always do. I like to go back and look at my outline and my framework for the challenge, And I have always changed it in midstream based on what's going on in the world, what's going on with me, what's going on with people participating. And it morphs into something way better than I could have imagined when I first decided I'm going to do a challenge. So that's fun. I love that part of the process. All right, have an amazing day. If I can help you in any way, ask in the comments below. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow with another update on what's going on as I transition from the brick and mortar world to the online world.